What's up, guys? I'm here today to talk about Brendan Sorsby, Texas Tech transfer. He came from Cincinnati, had a pretty good year last year. Tail end of the year, kind of wasn't as good as the beginning, but he's a very, very talented quarterback, and that was the piece that Texas Tech think that was going to take them over the top to compete for a championship this year. But Brendan Sorsby, he checked himself into a residential treatment today for betting on Reds games, and they say betting on various apps. They said up to thousands. I guess we'll see when more details come out what that entails. If they got an actual, because people remember this, when you're betting on these apps, you have to put in your information, and if you're not using I guess somebody else's information and you're using yours, is asking for IDs, your debit card, whatever information that you're placing money on it. So like they got a digital footprint to track back and see how many bets he plays. So, and Texas Tech signed him for I think it was a $6 million deal. So like I say, and I think this year he won't be playing. I would be surprised if he was playing. I think the NCAA is gonna come down hard. I think that they're gonna set an example, and like I said, it was I can't remember the guy's name. It was somebody else that had something that they placed. It might have been $2,000 worth of bets, and the NCAA came down hard. So I think they will come down hard on him. They said he was placing bets when he was at Indiana as a freshman in 2022. He wasn't playing in the game. And I know some people will be like, oh, well, he was betting on Indiana to win. Man, look, the way they look at gambling is, especially if you're betting on your team, they look at that like it's sacrilegious. That's the worst of the worst. And like I say, the ESPNs, all the various news outlets, they may not address this because they really can't address this, because they're in bed with MGM, Prize Picks. They in bed with all these gambling apps. So to me, it's kind of hypocritical. Yes, it's the rules is the rules. You can't bet on them. But once sports start having gambling come in, it always was gonna be like this, guys. Once you start being able to place bets on your phones just so easily, like I say, everybody is betting on games. People who don't even watch the sports, everybody is betting on games. So it wasn't a shock to me. I think more and more of these cases are gonna come out. It's probably ones it's happened, and the teams are just taking care of it in-house, and they just didn't let it get out. I'm betting Cincinnati leaked this because, like I said, I'm pretty sure Texas Tech knew this when they got him. But like I said, when you're a talented player, people will look past certain stuff, and they probably were hoping, that it just swept under the rug. And like I said, he was transferring. I think he wasn't going to be playing until October because he had an ACL injury. But like I said, man, I just want to come in short. I do think, like I said, he will be, his eligibility, I think, will be taken. Like I say, I don't know what he's gonna do from here. It's funny because I was just watching an interview with this kid not too long ago. He was on the On 3. I was watching. He was on the On 3 thing, and seemed like a good dude. But like I say, guys, I see some people like, oh, this is sad. I'm not gonna say it's sad. It's just the rules is the rules. We can like them, dislike them, but it is what it is. Like I say, yes, I do know, like I said, the conflict of interest, because if you go on any of these, watch these shows that's probably even speaking on this, they got sports apps, right in the thread, or they got Prize Picks, BetMGM, they got all these gambling apps. So for him checking himself in, I think personally it was a move by his team. So when the NCAA do come down, he could already be like, I'm in the process of, going to him for, I have a mental issue. It's like I say, he could really have an issue, but it's a smart play because you want to seem like you're getting help. You want to seem like, oh, you know what, I'm addressing this head on. But really, if you check yourself in as soon as the story come out, it's kind of like, do we believe that? Because if you really had a problem and you really wanted to address it, you would have checked yourself in way before this story even got put in the headlines. Like I said, that's a play that a lot of people do. You'll see a lot of times. You remember Tiger Woods when he got in trouble. What's one of the first things he did? He checked himself into a place for, the additions he talking about he had. So, like I said, it is what it is. We'll follow this story further, and like I said, we'll see more details to come out, guys. But like, comment, subscribe, share, and I catch you next time.